Okay, so let's get right into it. For decades, the number 42 has been this huge inside joke for sci-fi fans, right? Kind of like the ultimate cosmic punchline. But what if it's not a joke at all? What if it's an answer so incredibly profound that we're not even built to understand it? Today, we're going to unpack why 42 might just be the most important answer we simply can't get our heads around. And it all kicks off right here. In Douglas Adams' absolute classic, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, this exact question gets plugged into a supercomputer called Deep Thought. The whole idea was to finally, once and for all, solve the one great mystery that's had philosophers stumped for, well, forever. The stakes really couldn't be any higher. And after 7.5 million years of crunching the numbers, this is what Deep Thought spits out. Just 42. It's so simple, it's baffling, and honestly, on the surface, it seems completely absurd. It really feels like the universe is just having a laugh at our expense.
So is that really all there is to it? Just a clever joke about how we're always searching for meaning? Or is there some kind of hidden logic here? A logic that suggests maybe the flaw isn't in the answer, but in the way we see the world itself.
And this, right here, this is the key that just unlocks the entire mystery. The story is hinting that the problem was never the number 42. Nope, the problem was with the beings who asked the question in the first place, because they were totally blind to their own limitations. And who exactly were these questioners? Well, they weren't human, not even close. They were these hyper-intelligent, pan-dimensional beings who, and this is the funny part, show up on Earth looking like simple mice. So by definition, they're operating on a whole other level of reality, way beyond our own.
Which brings us to the real heart of the issue. It's all a problem of perception. The entire story is built on this idea that there are different levels of understanding, and something that seems like total nonsense from one point of view might be perfectly logical from a higher one.
And this just illustrates that gap perfectly. You see, the mice come up with a question that, in their higher dimensional reality, is crystal clear. We humans, on the other hand, well, we can read the words on the page, sure, but our brains are physically limited. We literally cannot grasp the true, complex meaning behind their question. We think we get it, but we really, really don't.
It just reminds you that truth can look ridiculously simple when you're looking at it from a higher dimension of understanding. An answer like 42 only seems random from our perspective. But from Deep Thought's point of view, or the mice's, it could be this perfectly elegant summary of a reality we can't even perceive.
So how does this hidden logic actually work? Well, believe it or not, Douglas Adams left us a clue, a little mathematical breadcrumb that proves this exact point. And it comes in the form of a math problem that seems really, really simple.
Later on in the story, this question literally gets pulled out of a Scrabble bag, and it's thrown out there as a possible candidate for the ultimate question that 42 is the answer to. Seems easy enough, right? I mean, we all know the answer.
6 times 9 is 54. Case closed. Except, wait a minute, that's not 42. And this is where most people just figure, oh, it's just another part of the joke. But it's not. The joke is actually on us and our rigid assumptions about how the universe is supposed to work.
To get this, we have to kind of step outside of our normal way of thinking for a second. See, we count what's called base 10. We use 10 digits, 0 through 9. But that's just a convention we all agreed on. You can count in any base you want. You could use base 13, for example, which uses 13 digits instead of 10. And here it is. This is the big reveal. In a base 13 numerical system, 6 multiplied by 9 is not 54, it's 42. The wrong answer is perfectly mathematically correct. You just have to be operating in the right framework to see it. It was never a mistake. It was a logic puzzle all along. Now, this isn't just some fun literary theory. This thought experiment from a book that's over 40 years old has suddenly become incredibly relevant. You know, the story of the mice who couldn't understand the answer they were given, well, it's starting to look a lot like our own story with artificial intelligence.
Let's just break down the mice's flawed logic here. First, they asked a question whose true meaning was just way beyond them. Second, they got an answer, 42, that their brains just couldn't process. So instead of trying to elevate their own understanding, what did they do? They decided to build an even bigger, more powerful computer, planet Earth, to find the question for them.
Now let's look at us. We are facing problems of just staggering complexity. Climate change, global economics, curing diseases, you name it. And what's our big solution? We're building a bigger computer, AI. We're asking it to solve problems we can't, but what's going to happen when its answers are just as incomprehensible to us as 42 was to the mice?
And this leads us to a really deep, cautionary tale. In our mad rush to find solutions for everything, we might be setting ourselves up for the exact same epic failure as those hyper-intelligent mice.
So, the crucial takeaway is this. The mice's biggest mistake wasn't that they couldn't understand 42. It was their complete unawareness that they couldn't understand it. They were totally blind to their own cognitive limits and just assumed the computer must be wrong.
And that is the question this whole thing leaves us with. As we hand over more and more of our world's most complex problems to AI, will we have the wisdom to recognize when its solutions are based on a logic that's just beyond our comprehension? Or will we just dismiss those answers as nonsense and keep trying to navigate our future completely blindfolded? The joke, it turns out, might still be on us.